Good morning. Welcome to Monday's Early Morning Intuitive Guidance. I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum, here with some words of wisdom to start your day off well. And I have a really cool thing I want to share with you today. So I'm excited about today's content. And good morning, Nancy. Welcome. Glad you are here. Oh, you're on LinkedIn or on YouTube today. Fabulous. Everybody's jumping platforms. Got to check it out on different ones and see what you notice. The only thing I will tell you, which I just learned earlier last week, good morning, Joe Neal. Good morning, good morning. You and Nancy are on, oh, and there comes Abigail on Facebook. So we're going to be spread across platforms today. The only thing I learned that is useful to all of you, I think, is the comments you will see are the ones posted by those on the same platform as you. So right now, at this very moment, my biggest platform is YouTube. But typically it would be my Facebook business page. So wherever you want to land, feel free. That's awesome. I luckily get to see all of your comments, which makes me very happy. So, and thank you, Abigail, for all the little fun things. We got a shamrock and a heart and a rainbow and a sunrise and sunflower, all kinds of good stuff. All right. So again, today's post is a really cool post. One of my things is I'm catering to people of a certain age because the boomer crowd, we're making changes right now, and we need some support in those changes we're making. And so we thought you'd check it out. Love it, love it, love it. So what I want to read today is actually a guest blog post on Chip Conley's blog that I don't know how often he puts them out. I think it's more than once a week, but I love a lot of his philosophies. And so the woman who wrote this one, Dana Collie, just like the dog, I've been captivated by this, what's happening here. And now there's this great thing to share. So let us start with some tapping and some breath. Pick your spot. Breathe it in. Breathe it out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Third round. Breathe in. Hold. And let it go. Isn't that lovely? Actually take some deep breaths. Fill up those lungs like we were meant to. Just fabulous. So this guest post is entitled The Living Butterfly Metaphor inside the MEA co-living housing model, all about the housing. It's entitled The Chrysalis, Imaginal Cells, and the Butterfly. So first, for those of you who aren't familiar with Chip Conley, let me just give you a little background on him. He's the one who created the string of boutique hotels in the San Francisco area called Joie de Vie, and was highly successful with that. When he retired from that particular venture, then he was invited by the guys who started Airbnb to help them move things forward. Good morning, Beth. Glad you're here. And was very successful with that. Then he moved on to MEA, which is Modern Elder Academy, and he now has 2 campuses. And it's a place where people like me who are moving into a different phase of life can go and attend workshops and retreats and speeches and all kinds of stuff that speak to our place in life and what do we want to do with these years of our lives that remain. So now he's moved down to housing. So he bought 2 houses in Arizona where the second MEA site is located, and he invited women for a think tank around affordable housing for women of a certain age. So he's got 2 different models, and this what I'm going to read to you came from one of the women who attended one of those first think tanks. So here's Chip's note. One of my favorite weekends of the year so far was our inaugural Golden Girls Weekend workshop in mid-January, which I wrote about in a blog post. And that was a great blog post. I think he's on Substack. I'm not sure. Anywho, Dana was one of the women who participated, and she came up with this wonderful metaphor to describe what we're doing. If you're curious to experience one of these Golden Girls weekends, we have 2 more scheduled in Santa Fe, April 2nd through 5th and May 21st through 24th. I'm seriously considering that May one. We shall see. He says, no, this is her. This is Dana. In biology, imaginal cells are tiny clusters of living intelligence hidden inside a caterpillar. Long before wings appear, long before flight is even imaginable, these cells quietly carry the blueprint of what the creature will become. Now think of human beings. Imaginal cells, anybody? While the caterpillar busies itself with eating and surviving, the imaginal cells wait. They are not in a hurry. They are not loud. But when the moment of transformation arrives, they awaken, multiply, and organize the materials of the old form into something entirely new. They build the butterfly. The MEA co-living model follows this same elegant logic. The people who choose to live together inside a chrysalis house are its imaginal cells. Now, the model I'm looking at is individual homes, but close together, small homes, and it creates a neighborhood kind of a thing. That's what I'm aiming for. This one is more of the model of sharing living space. They arrive because something is shifting. Careers are reforming. A stirring of a desire for a new purpose is rising. Adventurers are seeking new horizons. Identities are loosening. Good morning, Barb. Glad you're here. Welcome. Long marriages have ended. Children have launched. Caregiving roles are evolving. They may be pioneers looking to forge new paths, or perhaps they are just curious about what could be. The outer structure of life is changing or shifting, and with it comes a tender, luminous question. Who am I now? Good morning, Gwen. Glad you're here. In this in-between season, residents do not come to disappear. They come to explore, connect, contribute, and experience something new and innovative. Each housemate brings a future self already stirring within them, new rhythms, new ways of loving and being useful in the world. Like biological imaginal cells, they hold forms that are not yet visible, even to themselves. Individually, they may feel tentative and uncertain. Anybody? Collectively, they become catalytic. Inside the sage house, patterns recognize, old habits soften, conversations stretch longer. Meals become ceremonies. Silence is allowed. Curiosity is practiced. Governance is shared. The nervous system of the house slows enough for something wiser to speak. Is that not a lovely line? I need to repeat that one. You ready? The nervous system of the house slows enough for something wiser to speak. Community is created and nurtured. In the insect world, imaginal cells are sometimes attacked by the caterpillar's immune system at first because they do not look like the tissues of the old form. They are different, radical, unrecognizable. So too with human transformation, which is precisely what we are all going through right now. Transformation, the belches, wheezes, and coughs of transformation. A person in reinvention can feel disruptive to their former life. Friendships may strain, roles may fall away, productivity scripts could undergo a metamorphosis. MEA co-living houses offer a place where that strangeness is not pathologized, but protected, where becoming is considered legitimate work. Yay! Gotta love that. Creativity and exploration are celebrated. As imaginal cells multiply, they find one another. They link, they coordinate, they form organs, wings, eyes, sensory systems. They do not compete for dominance. They cooperate in design. There's divine feminine all over the place, right there. Housemates practice the same choreography. They are not roommates merely sharing square footage. They are co-evolutionaries, witnesses, gentle architects of the community becoming. One person experiments with a new creative practice. Another tests a slower way of earning money. Someone learns how to rest without apology. How many times do you feel like you have to offer, well, I needed to take some time off. I didn't want to get sick, blah, blah. No, I was tired. I quit. I was ready for a day off. I took one, just unapologetically. Someone else learns how to speak again after years of caregiving silence. Each small experiment sends a signal through the collective. This is possible. The house becomes a living laboratory for the third act of life. The MEA co-living model honors something most housing systems forget. Humans, like insects, are not static creatures. We are designed for multiple metamorphoses. We shed skins, we reorganize meaning, we build new wings from old materials. And for how many of us does that feel weird? Something that we threw ourselves into heart and soul 20, 30, 40 years ago now is kind of like meh. And something that we didn't care about at all now is really, really important to us. The physical home is simply the container. The residents are the transformation. And that is something I've been saying for several years now as I explore all these different housing models, co-housing, intentional community, etc. We're too focused. I love the stuff that's being done with cohousing.org and with let me think of the intentional community, IC.org. They are focused on the humans that live there and the governance process. How do we all get along? How do we make decisions? To me, well, and maybe it's because of my career, but all of that is far more important than what kind of structures are we going to live in. Those are important as well. But I think the human piece and meeting those needs is so important. The physical house is simply the container. The residents are the transformation. They are imaginal cells with coffee cups and journals and shared calendars. They are wisdom seekers, elders practicing wisdom in action. They are people brave enough to pause long enough for a deeper pattern to emerge. And when they eventually leave the Chrysalis house, they do not go back to being caterpillars. They disperse into the world differently shaped, carrying flight in their shoulders, carrying community in their bones. Proof that when the right people gather inside the right container, evolution stops being abstract. It becomes domestic. It happens at the breakfast table. It hums in the hallway. It unfolds quietly, cell by cell. It is who they were always growing toward. Dana. And interesting, so now I'm just reading this. She holds an MA in school psychology. Duh. That's a psychologist writing there. Yeah, I totally get that. She is a 4-time MEA alum and lifelong seeker, rooted in Tulsa, Oklahoma, with love, family, and spirit that keep calling her onward to Houston, Portland, and a small farm in North Texas. So that must be where her family members live. But I just thought that was a beautiful representation of what quite a few of us are trying to create in places other than the coasts. And bigger cities seem to be opening up to this model. Towns my size, not as much, at least not yet. Hopefully we'll get there. Hopefully we'll get there. Good morning, Mel. Glad you are here. Close to you. There we go. So hopefully, more writings like this, more readings like this, more sharings of this helps make this that domestic model. It's no longer weird outliers. Are you guys a cult? All that stuff. This is a valid, honorable, sustainable way of living the third semester of our life. That'd be a trimester, wouldn't it? Nonetheless, so does this grab anybody? Does this get anybody's thought process rolling? We've been so steeped in that fierce independence. And how many people right now of a certain age are living alone in these gigantic houses, feeling alone, at risk for stuff happening? If you fall and nobody's there to hear you, yeah, all that stuff. And if you ask my father, no, I don't carry my phone. Yeah, baby soon, absolutely, absolutely so. Um, doesn't carry his phone, doesn't have the help. I've fallen and I can't get up button, nothing. Which is why we need to be with him all the time. One of the reasons why we need to be with him all the time. So for that to shift, for people to have their, again, a while ago, I posted on here a link to a new development in Sheboygan County, Wisconsin, which is a whole subdivision geared toward people with Alzheimer's. And so you're living in a home, you have a caregiver with you, everybody knows that everybody there has Alzheimer's. So everybody's looking out for each other. The pace is slower. It's a very different living arrangement than what we have traditionally done, which was revolutionary in its era. The senior housing to assisted living to nursing home. That was radical when it was developed. Not so much anymore. Time for some new options. And this, I think, is a lovely new option. So that's it. The Chrysalis, Imaginal Cells, and the butterfly. I hope it kind of stirred some creativity within you and some conversation to have with people who might be, how often do you hear someone saying, well, yeah, I got a house. I've kind of outgrown my house, but can't afford to sell it, blah, blah, blah. Have the conversation with them. Hey, they've got these new ideas coming out that might be a much better fit for you. We need people who are willing to be on the leading edge of making these kinds of things happen beyond just the coasts and beyond just large cities that can see the need for it. Opportunity is going to knock soon here. I'm crossing my fingers. So have an awesome day. We'll see you again tomorrow. Remember, you are capable of far more than you think you are. Bye-bye.